afternoon, everyone. Great to have your company on TAC Cup Future Stars for the TAC. Slow down on the roads this afternoon, and before you head out, enjoy the next hour. We've got plenty of footy coming your way from the TAC Cup. Not only 7 matches this weekend, but all the stars of the AFL competition joining too. Luke Bruce shares his journey. Luke Ball's along. We'll hear from Trent Cotchin as well. And we'll also have the combine results and take you inside Natanui and Dore and just how they tested pre-AFL. It's fascinating. Stick around for that in just a moment. The results so far, 7 matches already in the TAC Cup this weekend. It's been fantastic. And all the state teams shifter involved as well. So Tasmania with a win over the Jets. The Dragons, the Bushies and the Stingrays, all good winners yesterday. And as we push on into the remainder of the fixture, the Knights, the Falcons again, and the Rangers are all having very good wins and a ripping round of football. We'll have a good look at it today. Here's the TAC Cup competition ladder. The Geelong Falcons still on top of the Rangers. Dragons, Powers, Stingrays and Knights all their cannons too. And it is going to be a wonderful competition. We'll have a good look at some of the kids throughout the course of the next hour. Football's father figure, the AFL, of course, the grandfather almost of the modern-day young player is Kevin Shifter Sheehan. Welcome, Shifter.
Yeah, great to be here, Hutchie. And a terrific weekend of footy. Caught up with a couple of games out at Highgate, so look forward to chatting about that a bit later.
And looking forward to the combine results in just a second. Stick around for the great comparison with Nick Nat and Madjack, one of the great TAC Cup success stories. Terry Wallace in his list management role here today. You go inside the success of the Swans. Player, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Hutchie. You've got to go to the reigning premiers, don't you, to have a look at what they've actually done right. And today we go and have a chat to the manager of recruiting and list strategy, Kinnear Beatson.
And Drew Petrie was a great TAC Cup player, and he joins us this afternoon. Of course, a good Ballarat boy. Hello, Drew.
G'day, Hutchie. I'm looking forward to seeing what you've dug up from my under-18 days, a few younger photos.
We don't want to keep you waiting, mate. Here's a little sample of you in the under-18s. You were a shifter. What was your memory of the big fella?
Oh, the big fella in the ruck. I had a look at the tape during the week just to recall 2000, way back when Nick Revolt was #1 and at choice 23 they took this young fella from North Ballarat and great mobility, very team-oriented in this vision. And I'd like to crash through a few too, Drewy. What are your memories of it?
Oh, I remember we beat Metro by about eight goals on this day, and I think Metro were touted as having all the stars of the competition that season, but we had a pretty good team and run around with the likes of Kane Pettifer and Luke Livingston, Jimmy Bartel as well. So we had a really solid team that year.
Drewy, people have sort of said that you can't turn a ruckman into a forward. You're very much different than that.
Yeah, well, I stand 197 centimetres, so I guess at underage level I was pretty tall, so that was my position in the ruck. But now we're seeing most ruckmen being over 200 centimetres, so therefore you need to add another string to your bow if you're not reaching above 200 centimetres whilst playing in the ruck.
Speaking of rucks, Madjack Dore, Nick Nat was fantastic on Friday night. Madjack's a great poster story now for the TAC Cup and his development. This was electric when they first went at it, Drew. How was it out on the ground?
Oh, it was. There was a big roar went up and I wasn't quite sure what was going on, but then it twigged that it was the first ruck contest between the two players, and Madjack only in his 4th game of league footy, and Nick Nat's played about 50 now, so Madja's got a little bit to work on, but till he reaches the standards Nick Nat has, and what a great mark he took there, and that's about the 2nd time I've seen that, and that's the last time we'll see that footage for this weekend.
Well, it was a highlight moment, obviously, the moment of the game, but he has developed into a wonderful, wonderful player.
Yeah, definitely. Just his competitiveness, and most ruckmen, and what was taught when I was at the TAC level was to follow up your ruck work, and that's what Nick Nat and what Madjack are doing really well, and all the other under-18 ruckmen needs to do at the level. Plenty
of debate about their respective qualities. Shifter, this is the official AFL draft combine testing, exclusive to TAC Cup Future Stars. An unbelievable comparison between these two great athletes.
And we'll go to Nick Nat for a start. He's the quickest tall we've ever tested. A 2.86 over 20. He's one out in his own. And same with his jump. His jump is the best ever for a ruckman at 102 for his running vertical jump. The point of difference with Madjack is his arm length. His arms are in fact 10 centimetres longer than Nick Nat's. So that's his standing vertical jump is excellent. One-on-one, when you're standing still, he is very, very hard to beat. And he's a very, very good athlete. But Nick is something special. He's 1 in a million.
Well, we saw that with Madjack on Friday night with Dean Cox. When he went forward, I think just Coxie was really surprised that he could outstretch him.
Yeah, I think the stretch is up in the air as well as out in front. So if he gets on the move and leads for the ball, they won't be able to spoil him out in front.
Well, that's what we're trying to teach Madjack at the moment, is to get some separation on his defenders. Because he's going to be a lot quicker and a lot taller than his opponents, he needs to just get a little bit of space and get those arms out in front of him because no one can stop it.
There you go, exclusive on TAC Cup Future Stars. We'll get that on our Facebook page now, so kids, you can benchmark yourself against it at TAC Cup FS, and I'll tweet a link from Craig Hutchie in the ad break so you can pick up on it and find your way there easy enough. TAC Cup triumphs for the competition across the AFL world this weekend. We start with you, Shifter.
Yeah, I'll go for players in the competition. Thomas Boyd has to be mine. This guy's an imposing tall forward. He's 199 centimetres, so that's 6 foot 6.5. He's bigger already than Tom Hawkins and big Travis Cloke. He's kicked 6 goals again yesterday, 20 for the year in 4 games, and he's a highly touted top 5 draft choice, no doubt in the world.
Well, I certainly went to the MCG last night where a couple of past TAC Cup players starred in that particular game. Sam Dwyer, who come through the system at the Geelong Falcons, going way back, Shifter, way back 10 years ago. He was just a star player. How he was lost to the AFL level of football for so long is beyond me. And his performance last night was wonderful. And we're now just watching Paul Seedsman, who was an Eastern Rangers boy, who was just a terrific player last night. 9 possessions in the last quarter and one of the very best players on the ground. Those 2 young men, to me, were absolute stars.
And I'm going to go with Michael Ferrito, one of my current teammates. He was overlooked. He came from the Eastern Rangers, was overlooked in the initial draft of his top age year, was overlooked in the rookie draft that year as well, spent 12 months at the Box Hill Hawks, and then was overlooked again in the national draft, and it took until North Melbourne picked him up in the rookie draft of 2002 until he got his opportunity on senior AFL list. And we saw him play his 200th game against the Western Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago, and he's solid as a rock. He's gone from tagging midfielders, I remember him tagging Mark Rasciuto in his early days, to being one of our strongest and most reliable defenders now. TAC
Cup triumphs come in all forms, and get this for a resume. Pick 47, 2009 rookie draft, New South Wales scholarship, all the way to a star now at the Hawks by the New South Wales ACT Rams in the TAC Cup. And Luke Brewster's been kind enough to join us. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to hear you, boys.
A non-traditional pathway into AFL footy for you. You must be thrilled with how it's working out.
Yeah, it's not the traditional way, and I definitely didn't play TAC Cup or anything like that. But yeah, being a New South Wales boy, had to try and find my way to the AFL, and luckily enough, end up at Hawthorn.
Well, New South Wales, tell us the story. Was it rugby league, or was it AFL, or was it a little bit of a combination of both?
Yeah, it was both growing up. I played a lot of league growing up and AFL, so it was a Saturday AFL and then rugby league on a Sunday. And then, probably made the decision around under 16s that I was probably getting a little bit more opportunity on the AFL side of things, so decided to go that path.
And did you use much of either rugby league in the AFL or vice versa? Did you use much of the kicking in the league?
Yeah, I played sort of half-back, 5'8", or centres or full-back, something like that. And used to kick the ball a fair bit, and I obviously took the place kicks as well. So both games help each other out, and the attributes that I had from one game, like obviously tackling and that, helping the AFL as well.
Luke, we're going to have a look at some of the vision of some of your goals. The thing I like about you is you step through traffic. I wonder whether it is going back to your rugby league background, because you can really find some space when you need to at times.
Yeah, I think the rugby league background as well as a little bit of touch as well. Played a fair bit of touch rugby growing up at school and all that. So I think that's probably where I got it from.
Just also speaking about, we're just having a look at some of your nice snapshots for goal. The one thing that I've been really impressed about your football as well, Luke, is your ability to actually give the ball off to others and set players up to kick goals. I was at the MCG the week before, and I thought you were involved in about 6 or 7 goals being kicked throughout the course of that game.
Yeah, no, playing with guys like Jared Ruffhead, Lance Franklin, even Cyril and that, they create so many opportunities for me. So it's nice to sort of give them back to them, and any chance you can bring your teammates into the game, it's better for the side.
Luke, hang around. We want to hear your journey in greater detail after the break, so we'll get some more highlights of you after the break and get inside your story next on TAC Cup Future Stars. Stick around. As we head to the break, it's time for the Still Sharpshooter Challenge. This week, our favourite Tiger, Jack Revolt, takes on the Sandringham Dragons centre-half forward Max Hayes for Still, making it easy.
Max Hayes, Sandringham Dragons, centre-half forward.
Well, welcome guys to another episode of Still Sharpshooters. We're here for the Still Sharpshooters for Schools program down at Princess Park, the home of the Sandringham Dragons, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by their centre-half forward, Max Hayes, mate. How's it going, buddy?
Good, Jack. How are you, mate?
Oh, dear.
Just, mate. Just. Yeah, lovely.
All right, Max, now we're 1-1, mate.
Yeah.
Pretty simple sort of set shot out there, sort of 30 out, on a 45-degree angle, mate. Now we're coming into what I like to describe as the revolt zone.
Surely. Oh.
Oh.
You're gonna go
One behind.
Though.
All right, I'm not going to drop punt. Silly. All right, I'll dribble it.
No go. No go. No go. Oh.
Oh, no.
Oh. Oh, you've missed it.
Oh, what?
Love it. Love
They
it.
moved after the post. Chance to take the glory here. $1,500 worth of products.
Ugly
That's not going
again.
to do it.
Yeah, you.
Oh, look at that.
Straight
Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, mate,
Good stuff, mate.
bad luck. Came down the last one there. Neither of us put out our best displays, but obviously, mate, for you coming into the your draftable year, mate, best of luck, and hopefully for Justin Platt and the Sandringham Dragons, mate, you can have a great year, and you might be there on the Etihad Stadium at the end of the year playing in the grand final. So best of luck. Thanks very much. Good on you.
Revenge at the moment. Alex Rance. Oh, probably Alex Rance as well. Love Barley. Chuka. The erratic lane changes is always tough. Something Coldplay. No way. Roger Federer, my dad and my partner. Yeah, I think Wise Man, James Blunt. Lo and behold. Enjoy your footy at a young age, because it does become more serious if you get to the top line. Playing with a lot of my closest mates and nearly getting to that final day for the grand final.
He's become a star, hasn't he? Richmond skipper Trent Cotchin joining us there on the road trip. Check out, of course, roadtripforever.com to take a virtual road trip about the importance of road safety. It's a great initiative by the TAC. Luke Brewster is with us in the studio, the Hawthorn young star, and we wanted to ask you about how you've been able to amalgamate yourself in such a high-profile team of stars in the forward end for the Hawks.
Yeah, it's, great playing with the guys down there. Took me a couple of years to break into the forward line, but once I got in there, the guys around me make it pretty easy to play there. They create so many opportunities for all of us, and I think we work together pretty well down there. So they're a great bunch of blokes.
The buddy factor is obviously a big thing. Do you ever get awestruck by what you see?
Oh, yeah, some of the time on the field, when Buddy does something or Cyril does something, and you got front row seats to it. It's pretty special, the things they can do.
And all of those players play it differently. I mean, that's what the variety of you guys being able to make. It's really fascinating. I'm interested in speaking to you about one of your Box Hill teammates originally, and also another New South Welshman in Taylor Duryea.
Yeah.
He's really sort of settled in and now playing some really good football for the club.
Yeah, Taylor's been great since he's come in. As you said, he played Box Hill with him for a few years, but since he's got his opportunity the last few weeks, he's really grabbed it with both hands, and he's playing some great footy for us.
What's that like, that development aspect, going to the Box Hill development and then trying to make your way through the system?
Yeah, it's obviously early days. It can be pretty tough. I started in the VFL reserves as well, and you feel like you're a long way off AFL footy, but it quickly turns around, and the development process at Hawthorn is pretty good, and yeah, Taylor's a great story out of that.
Now, Luke, back to your own pathway. We're trying to work out how this boy from Temora ended up down at Hawthorn. You're in the open draft. It wasn't in that scholarship area. Tell us about 2008. That was your draft year, and we remember you playing for the Rams, and I think from memory, the helmet even.
Yeah.
So tell us about your journey.
Yeah, so I played for the Rams in 2008 and 2007, with the helmet on. So I played in the Division 2 championships, and I think we lost to Tasmania in the final in that, and then played a couple of Division 1 games against, I think it was Vic Country and maybe WA. And then from there I actually broke my leg in Tassie, so I was out for the rest of the season, and I think I'd pretty much given up on the chance of being drafted. I'd organised uni in Wagga, and thought I was just going to be in New South Wales still and back home.
And Luke, in that era, you're actually playing rugby league one day and then AFL the next.
Yeah, so I was playing AFL on a Saturday and then rugby league on a Sunday, and I did that pretty much from when I was sort of under 12s to under 18s.
It's a fantastic story. I'm glad AFL won out. New South Wales ACT Rams were in action yesterday. Let's take a look at how the game went. Stick around for a sec, Luke. The Murray Bushrangers had a 30-point win over your old mob. Clark kicked 3 and Nagel kicked 3, but the Rams were competitive. They ploughed, Drew.
Yeah, well, and certainly Jaden Nagel, obviously son of the late Merv Nagel, playing a good game in that game. Shifted pretty even till three-quarter time, and most of these boys will play championships with each other.
Yeah, that's right. They'll end up teammates because half a dozen of the Murray boys will play for New South Wales. The championships kick off next weekend and the weekend after, so they'll join together there. One boy to look for is a kid called Nick Holman from Kyabram. Could there be another boy... Brett Delidio Country, Gary Lyon Country, he was the best player for Murray yesterday. And Lloyd Peris was a star for New South Wales ACT. He's a boy from St George right up there in Sydney, and he won the Cameron Ling medal for the outstanding player in level 1 of AAS last year. Lloyd Peris, a name to look for.
Well, Luke, thanks very much for joining us. We've got a few prizes. You don't go away empty-handed here on Future Stars, so just going through a couple of the prizes that we've got for you. A round of golf for 4 at the beautiful Kingston Links golf course down in Roval. It has a new driving range with bunkers and greens. It's been designed to make you feel like you're on a real course. What an experience that'll be for you. The Bulldog men's skincare pack, a man's best friend. Luke, you'll look your very, very best with Bulldog. A Country Racing Victoria marquee package. It's a great day out for you and your mates. A night for 2 at the Mighty Parkview Hotel in St Kilda Road, including breakfast. It's a perfect location, close to everything Melbourne has to offer. A $100 voucher to spend at Soho Workshop for 4 great locations across Melbourne. Soho's in Chapel Street, Richmond and the Melbourne CBD. Go and see Sammy at Soho and he'll look after you. As well as Tosca and the Tosca Travel Goods will be great on your end-of-season trip.
Fantastic. Luke Bruce joining us, and get involved with the Hawks too and support your team. They've been wonderful, the Hawks, early in the year. That's 1300 13,000 Hawks. Get involved there, or membership.hawthornfc.com.au. We'll find out the secret to Sydney's success next, right here on TAC Cup Future Stars. Some of the TAC Cup fitness testing there earlier in the season. This is TAC Cup Future Stars for the TAC. Just a reminder, kids watching today, probationary drivers are about 3 times more likely to be killed or seriously injured than more experienced drivers. Slow down, speed hurts. More on that on our Twitter, of course, at TAC Future Stars. That's at TAC Future Stars. You can get involved at Craig Hutchie. We can bounce back and forth, or at the List Manager to talk about Terry Wallace's work on the program, at the List Manager, and Facebook to get that combine details from earlier. That fascinating comparison with Dawn Nui. Facebook.com/TAC Cup FS. We look at list management. It's a very important part of building a team, and the TAC Cup players trying to work their way into the system and plough. You're going deep into the competition to see what everyone looks for. Today you go to one of the best in Kinnear Beats and one of the greats of recruiting from the Sydney Swans.
Yeah, very much so. He's the manager of recruiting and list strategy for the Sydney Football Club, obviously the reigning premiers. And look, they do it a little bit different to most of the teams in the competition. So that was my first question to him, was just to ask him what their list strategy was all about and how they set it up.
I think the approach is looking at the balance of your list and the demographics of your list, where your strengths and your weaknesses lie, being able to identify through the draft or through the trades how you can address those weaknesses, and then balancing that up with what you're prepared to give up via, say, trading out a draft pick for a senior player.
When we look back in hindsight and when you are selecting these players, to think now that you were able to select Josh Kennedy with selection 39, that's an absolute bargain.
Yeah, that was a really unusual one, because if you can remember at the time, Hawthorn were heavily involved in trying to get Burgoyne across from Port Adelaide, and to be able to appease the clubs that they were dealing with, Port and Essendon were involved in that trade as well. I think it was Mark Williams went to Essendon. They needed other draft picks to be able to satisfy the other clubs involved. And Georgie Stone, of course, with his link with the Kennedy family, was a big, massive follower of Josh, and he was the one that really instigated that we should look at that trade.
You won the flag in 2005. By the time we got the next few years onwards, the team did go backwards a little bit on the ladder and actually missed out on playing finals in a year. We now look at that 2009 period of about 4 months where you went through a trade period and also the national draft. And to me, it completely changed the complex of the whole club and really reignited them again.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. It was just one of those unusual years. We finished, I think, outside the 8, so we had an early pick, which was Gary Rowan. The club had a sense that Darren Jolly might be looking to move. There were some issues that Darren had to address off the field. So we knew we were going to be in the marketplace for a ruckman, thus Mumford and Seaby. And with the trade of Joel's, it brought in another relatively early first-round draft pick. I think it was about selection 14 for Lewis Jetta. So by looking again at the demographics of our list, we were able to look at it, and there was some glaring holes in our list in a particular age bracket. So we made a conscious decision that any trade for a player, that player had to sit in a certain age bracket, thus Mumford, Kennedy, McGlynn, Seaby. They were all in that sort of 24 to 25 age bracket, and that's where we had a glaring weakness. And then, yeah, the 3 boys from the draft in Rowan, Jetta and Sammy Reid has certainly helped, yeah.
Let's just talk about Sam Reid. He seems like he was an excellent selection that deep in the national draft, and he's still improving and maturing as a player, but shows some wonderful signs.
He didn't get a lot of exposure in the national championships just because of the structure of the Vic Country team that year, so he played a lot as a backup ruckman. But we just really liked the way he attacked the ball in the air and had really, really good recovery as a tall. He just rarely lost his feet, and we weren't sure whether he was going to be a key forward or a backman, but we thought that there was a chance that he was going to come through as a key position player. I remember in that draft actually saying to John that if we didn't take Sammy at that point in the draft, there was a good chance we wouldn't have got a quality tall in the draft, and fortunately it looks like it's going to pan out okay.
We have a lot of families, and more particularly the players watching this show. Kinnear, is there anything that you really believe that the players need to work on to enhance their opportunity of being drafted?
I think the thing that really catches the player out when they get to the AFL level is just the level of running that's required in a defensive aspect. And I see this a bit with really talented players in the TAC Cup. They run really hard in an offensive sense. They'll run to get possession of the ball, to make position. They're not as keen to run hard defensively, and I think that's a thing that they really need to learn, and just learning to compete for the entirety of the game.
Kinnear, thanks very much for your time on Future Stars, and once again, congratulations for the premiership last year.
Thanks, Terry. Really appreciate it.
Some really good advice from the #1 team in the competition last year. They do it differently, but they do it better than most.
Yeah, they do. And those last 2 points Kinnear mentioned was the defensive running and competing. There's nothing mentioned about how many possessions or how big a mark you can take and plough. Sydney, they always draft and recruit competitive players, but they don't always draft tall young ruckmen from the beginning.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when you have a look at Mumford, they've got Tippett coming into the side it's very shortly. They've had Jolly in the past, Seaby, even Teddy Richards is a key position player. So that's the pathway that they've gone down. Get those big boys in that are already established and try to look for young stars. They've still got them coming through. I mean, Hanbury last night, again with 4 goals, was magnificent.
We talk about the cliff in footy. Caro and I have argued about this for years on Footy Classified. I maintain that the cliff was right there at 2009. I got 9 players in 3 weeks who were in the premiership team. Having talked to Kinnear, do you share that view?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I mean, the balance of getting guys who were 23 years of age that could come straight in and play, but still top it up with some really young stars. I mean, you know, players like Jetta were just magnificent, what they've been able to do for that footy club as well.
It's a fascinating story, Shifter, and been one of the great success stories of recruiting.
Yeah, Kinnear Beatson's had a lifetime in the game. He was the original Western Jets regional manager 22 years ago and has moved around the clubs very, very well, and he connects very well with the senior coaches. Don't underestimate the role Paul Roos and John Longmire have taken in their list strategy.
Speaking of the Swans, Ty Kennelly, we'll hear from him next, and Luke Ball as well, right here on TAC Cup Future Stars. Welcome back to TAC Cup Future Stars for the TAC. It's time now for Close to Home for Sweeney Estate Agents. Well done to Wayne and to Darren and the team, the Can Do Agents. Great to have them on board. You can visit them for all your real estate needs. They are the Can Do Agents. The Irish players in the competition have become a family in their own right. They've been mentored by Ty Kennelly, and this week he catches up, Ty Kennelly, with our very own Tristan Fernanda.
Look, there's more exposure to the game there. There's more players, I suppose, playing the game in countries like Denmark and all over Europe. There's 24 countries, playing the game now in Europe, which is great for us and great for the game. But I coached last year as well with Peter Schwab and this year with Brad Ottens, and the improvement even from the kids that were involved last year was huge. They were able to take what they learned in that week, and a good thing about it is some of the kids said to me, you know, I've learned what I've learned this week, I've learned more, you know, in a lifetime of footy, and you're hoping next year they improve, you know, with some Irish kids that are really good. Daniel Flynn, a kid from Kildare, was very, very impressive. You know, and Porrick Lucy, big ruckman, that pretty much played like an old school ruckman, didn't actually come off the ground. I tried to pull him off once and he goes, no, I'm fine, and just ran and played the old school rock and bashing and crashing. It was great to see, you know, and they just loved the experience of playing with an Australian roots ball and the opportunity, I suppose, of playing in front of 18 club recruiters.
I suppose your success in many ways over the past decade really opened the eyes of Irish boys as to the AFL as becoming a legitimate professional sporting pathway.
Yep.
From your feedback and dealings with those semi-elite playing Gaelic football over there, how many are willing to try their hand at Australian rules football?
Yeah, look, there's a lot now. Obviously, look, the Irish economy has been well documented. It's not going so well. So I think a lot of kids now are seeing it as really as a pathway to be a professional footballer and an opportunity to come out here and be an elite footballer. And that's what we're trying to create. The AFL is trying to create a clear pathway and opportunity like I was given back a long time ago.
You mentioned a few of the Irish boys there. There are plenty now on AFL list. McKeever, Hanley, Tui, Mooney, Clark.
Yeah.
Do you have much to do with them nowadays as you track their development? How do you see their careers as having developed so far?
Yeah, I do. Look, I try and call all of them, not just the Irish players, but big Eric Wallace, you know, and down in North Melbourne, and obviously Mike Pike in Sydney, you know, and I try and get around to all of them. And at just some point, just give them a call, and I'm just an ear for them to talk about anything at all. It doesn't really matter, you know. I appreciate it. Jimmy Steins and Sean White done it to me, and I feel like I owe that to the boys that are here because I was given that feedback and ear to help me get through the transition of playing, and you know, I feel it's something that I have to do and that I love doing. Not that I have to, but I love doing it.
He's a beauty, no doubt about it. Ty Kennelly for Sweeney Estate Agents with our Close to Home this week. The Irish continue to improve in the competition. Pierce Hanley, in particular, Shifter, has become a star in the last 12 months.
Yeah, I think the thing we learned about recruiting the Irish is that pick the best of their age level. Pierce Hanley was that. He actually played in 2006 against our Australian under-17s, against the Bryce Gibbs and Cyril Rioli, and he won the Barassi medal for Ireland's best player. And anyone watching it saw that's the one you'd take. His breakaway pace really stood out, ability to run the lines. It was Gubby Allen and the people at the Lions that really followed him through.
A player that I saw that I really liked playing with the Northern Blues in the VFL was Zach Tui. A big, strong body, but what really impressed me with him was his kicking skills. I just couldn't believe how well that he actually kicked the ball for an Irish boy. And Shifty, you tell me there was a bit of a story involved in that.
Well, it was Carlton giving him a footy 12 months ahead of actually testing him with that footy. He'd kicked it to death in a year and was a star with the ball, and his passion for that Sharon really won them over.
And Marty Clark, his ability to keep his feet in the contest, he's also, like the other two, has got a lot of pace running off half-back, and the exquisite skill he shows for a player who I suppose hasn't kicked a Sharon for all that long. He did spend 12 months back home in Ireland with a bit of homesickness, but since he's been back, he's shown a lot of maturity, and he looks like he's played the game ever since he's been a little kid.
So in the footy, Ty Kennelly's in fact testing about 20 every year in February for the clubs and looking for the next one that's like himself that'll make that journey across to have a crack at AFL.
It's fascinating, isn't it? We'll look forward to following that in the coming weeks. We also plenty more to come, by the way, on TAC Cup Future Stars, including all the great games from yesterday. Stick around for that. But as we head to the break, we'd love to look back on the old days of some of the AFL stars and their days in the under-18 competition. And, of course, we do that every week with our Telstra Stores Footy Hub. This week, Pies star Luke Ball visited his local Telstra store, the Bentley Telstra store. Jared and the team there on Centre Road to recount his schoolboy days.
Hey, Jared. Thanks for having me. Looks great.
Hi Luke, welcome to the Bentley Telstra store.
Thanks Jared, yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, great, thanks. So today we've got Callum Cathcart here as well, who is a local Bentley boy and played for the Sandringham Dragons, who I understand you've also played for. Can you tell us a bit about what you remember from your TAC?
Yeah, I was just having a good chat with Callum and having a little reminisce about my time down at the Dragons, and I had to juggle it with school footy at the time, so I probably didn't get down there a hell of a lot, but I remember having a great couple of years down there, and some of the guys that I played with back then, I still catch up with now, and Chris Judge, probably a notable guy who I played at the Dragons with a couple of games for down there. So it was a great little time in my footy career, and they certainly helped prepare young players really well.
Look, Luke, I just want to say thank you very much for sharing your story with us today, and I'll be sure to be watching you and the Pies this weekend on the AFL Telstra T-Box, live AFL TV, and it provides unmetered action on AFL. It's got all the video highlights, game replays, and it's fantastic.
Absolutely, thanks Jared, and I'll be telling the boys to get down to Telstra Bentley and get their magnificent T-Box.
Just learning, like playing against bigger bodies. Gut running, but when you know you're doing it, you don't want him to say it again. Probably, I would love to go back to Africa to visit my family and stuff. And maybe back to New Zealand because it was a good experience. Or just bonding with my teammates and coaches and I like Nick Nat, Samuel Jackson. Probably have to be Blue Suede Shoes by Elvis Presley.
He's a character, isn't he? Duam, the Western Jets ruckman, will tell his story in greater detail in the coming weeks. He's an absolute beauty. Plenty of games to get through from yesterday. And we start with the Sandringham Dragons against the Oakley Chargers, and a good win here play out by the Dragons, enjoyed by the Dragons.
They did, had a good win, Hutchie, by 51 points. It was set up in the first term, 7 goals to 1 behind in that quarter, and after quarter time it was 5 goals apiece, so fairly competitive and even game after that. Out of the game shifted, there might be a father-son future with young Josh Clayton playing well.
Yeah, the son of Scotty, of course, just in his second game, an important player and amongst the best again. And the Brighton boys were very, very good. Christian Salem was excellent again, kicked a couple of goals, the left footer that we saw, star for the ASAFL Academy. And Josh Kelly, watch for that one. We mentioned him last week, 3 goals, an important player in their win. All those youngsters have got great class.
Yeah, and having a look at the next game, the Northern Knights, too good for the North Ballarat Rebels, who are having a pretty tough year, Drewy.
Yeah, my old mob, yes.
Old team, but certainly some really good players in this game. It was a tight game for most of the match. 5-1 last quarter to the Knights, got them over the line. Who were some players that impressed you?
Yeah, big Liam Boquette, the ruckman, key forward, the number 13, kicked 3 goals. And it's good to see Lewis Herbert, a 19-year-old for the North Ballarat Rebels, continue on with his development. It was very good for his side. And Dallas Willsmore, first up, he's one that we really need to watch this year. He's been out with an knee injury and was very impressive with 3 goals first up for the year. So that's Dallas Willsmore, their number 8 from North Ballarat.
And the Dandenong Stingrays in the next game led most of the day against the Bendigo Pioneers. They set up the game with an 8-goal first half to Bendigo's 3. And in the second half, Bendigo did kick 6 goals, so they come home really strongly. But it was the first half again from the Stingrays that set this win up. Shift, you had a closer look at this game as well.
Yeah, another guy first up for the year and a name to follow is Billy Hartung. 3 goals in the best first up. Now, he's an elite running midfielder that comes from the same area as Lockie Whitfield down there at Mornington. So look for him. And Nathan Jones's brother, Zach Jones, has had a terrific year too for the Dandenong Stingrays. Been a very good defender for them. And Kyle Gray, another for the Stingrays. So there's some of the boys that coached down there by Graham Yates. Joel Hellman with 3 goals were the best for the Pioneers in a very good team performance.
Got some good talent there, no doubt about it. And the Cannons and the Falcons, with the Falcons having a good win.
Yeah, the undefeated Falcons. The Cannons took it right up to them. They're only 7 points down at half-time. But just the evenness of the Geelong Falcons eventually wore them down. One name for Calder that just stood out for me was Anthony Prestia.
Yeah, kicks a goal. Just look for him in a moment. He's the brother, of course, of Dion up there at the Gold Coast Suns. Alex Hickey, I really liked his game. He's the captain, the co-captain of the Geelong Falcons, a prolific ball winner across half-back. He just mops it all up down there. And a kid called Lewis Taylor. He's your next Boomer Harvey. Look out for him later in the year. He's about a 173-centimetre midfielder with the same sort of attitude, the way he attacks the footy, and won plenty of it yesterday, Lewis Taylor.
The Falcons are a powerful unit. They bat pretty deep too as well. The Eastern Rangers among those teams hoping to make some inroads, Drew.
That's right, Hutchie. Probably the highest profile coaches in the TAC, with Darren Buick looking after the Rangers and Nick Stevens with the power. And it was a 10-goal to 1-goal first half from the Eastern Rangers, which really set up their day. And young Thomas Boyd's having he certainly had a day out this day. We've mentioned about him earlier. Shifty, he'll be a definite player on the radar of most AFL clubs.
Yeah, a star up forward, but he had some great supply. Ben Cavara, like his work, the left footer at the full of the ball. Joseph Fisher's been a good player too for the Eastern Rangers this year. And Ben Kearns is one from Gippsland Power to look out for. He kicked 5 goals at senior level in the VFL earlier in the year. 4 goals again yesterday and a very good second half by Gippsland Power.
Just on Boyd, I'm right to assume he's in the top 3 or 4 players at the moment in the draft ranks. If GWS and Melbourne are pretty well loaded with front-end tools, it'd be interesting to see if he gets through to 3 or 4 or 5.
That'll be the interesting part, because the rest of the top liners are all midfielders and forwards. So there's a whole bunch of them. They all kick off next weekend with the National Championship started, and that's when the debate really gets on in earnest.
The McDonald's TAC Cup Young Player of the Year wins $5,000. The chairman of selectors is Kevin Shifter-Sheen on the panel of 3. And this week, who have you gone for, Shifter?
Well, we've gone for Josh Kelly. We've mentioned Josh a number of times. Just an elite decision maker through the midfield, can play half-back. He can also play forward, kicked 3 yesterday. Now, his father, Phil, we go for the good bloodlines as well. Phil won a couple of Sandover medals over there with East Perth. Come across to North Melbourne, played 60-odd games. But, Drew, sorry, the father-son rule's up at 100, so you'll miss out there. He'll be in the open draft pool, and Josh Kelly looks to be one of those early choices with Thomas Boyd.
It'd be nice to have young Josh Kelly. We're already going to get the young Luke McDonald as well, so bad luck on missing on Josh.
The winner of the McDonald's TAC Cup Young Player of the Year wins $5,000 thanks to McDonald's and the wonderful macpac.com.au. Check it out. Tomahawk, Jack, Murph and Pendles, kids, all the tips, good living, diet, advice, fitness, you name it. You can get it on macpac.com.au. It's the most innovative football hub online you can find into this year, macpac.com.au, and $5,000, a big opportunity there for Josh Kelly to be one of the contenders at the end of the year. A break, but plenty more to come. This is TAC Cup Future Stars. Watching TAC Cup Future Stars for the TAC in the AFL being played at the moment. It's Carlton 5-7-37 leading Port Adelaide 3-1-19. One more game to get through, the Western Jets against Tasmania in the TAC Cup this weekend, gentlemen. Yeah, it was a ripping game of footy, Drew.
It was, Hutchie. They went down by 18 points, the Western Jets. They had 23 scoring shots to Tasmania's 21, but a little bit inaccurate, as we see there. Shifter, Cade Kohler Jasny. Now, don't ask me to say it or spell it, but you've likened him to Grant Birchall.
Well, you've buried the name. That's fantastic. Cade Kohler Jasny, twin brother too in Jake. They play across halfback. Look, he was a star yesterday. He put on a clinic nearly. He did it all. So he's run and carries, raking long left foot kick, and even playing halfback, he kicked 2 goals as well. So that was a standout performance from him and a great warm-up game for Tassie for the National Championships.
And again, obviously, Tassie getting ready for that. But we've had quite a few twins come out of Tasmania, haven't we? The Tingays, the Atkins boys. So there's been a few twins that have actually made the AFL level.
And I think his brother's got a very good chance too, Big Jake. He's a bit taller, about the 192, 193, so the boys are a wee bit dissimilar in size, but Cade was the star yesterday.
Fantastic effort and a great round of footy, wasn't it, must be said?
Oh, fantastic round of footy. And next weekend, so we'll go to Vic Country, we'll go up to Darwin to play the Northern Territory, Vic Metro up to Queensland. So that's all on next weekend.
In terms of the season, this is when the whips really start to crack, when in terms you start to evaluate the players. So the next month is vital.
Well, there'll be 200 scouts on the road. They'll all head through Virgin Airlines right round Australia. So it goes for the next 8 weeks and a very exciting time for everyone involved.
Drew, thanks for drifting in. It's been fun.
Thanks, Hutchie. Yeah, it's been enjoyable to look back at some of that old footage as well and just remember, I suppose, where I came from as a youngster.
Have you got over Friday night yet?
No, still haven't yet. It's I don't think I will. I'm still stunned. My feet haven't really hit the ground from when that siren went up and Nat Nui kicked the goal.
Season opens up a bit now, Plough, though, for the Kangaroos, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much so. Look, I think they're still right in the hunt. If you're playing that type of football that they're playing, they're still right in it.
In the recruiting in the next few weeks, who have you got on your radar?
Oh, look, it's really, really important, the whole recruiting aspect of it at the moment, but we're just going around and having a look at all the AFL sides and getting the information off them.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks to Plough. Thanks to Shifter as well. Don't forget to get involved on Twitter. You can join us at TAC Cup, at TAC Future Stars, or at Craig Hutchie. Thanks to our major partner, the TAC. Please, probationary drivers, you're 3 times more at risk. Slow down. Take good care on the roads. Speed really does hurt, and it's an important message from the TAC. We'll see you next Sunday afternoon right here on TAC Cup Future Stars. Enjoy the day.